This is Cutting Down the Nets. It's Thursday, March 10th. Man, this is hard prep. Um, Typically, I can just run a script and then identify plays and dig into them. And I mean, man, this is a lot of manual work. Makes me feel like the old days, so to speak. So I'm doing the best I can with the information I have. I have made a few plays so far and am considering an enormous amount of plays. So, sitting at 3-3, Utah Valley in the middle of a melt. Nothing like the Arizona State melt. It's just frustrating. I don't know. I think out of the last 12 games I've played, I've had significant closing line value on like 10, and then just no movement on the other two, and don't have the results to show for it. And I don't know. It can just be frustrating. But we're hanging in there. We're having a good year. Yesterday just kind of tilted me a bit, and then the way a couple games went today were not favorable. So this is the schedule. I've done my best to sort by tip time, but some of the stuff might be off just a little bit because, I mean, I have no idea. Like, I'm cross-referencing brackets and stuff. It's kind of a grind right now. So first game, I have not bet this yet. But the way this goes is sometimes I record this, I go lay in bed, and then am on sites looking at lines and all right, might as well lock that in because I fear it's going to drop in the morning. When in reality, I think, I don't know, whatever you see tonight should be available right away in the morning. Now that can change, 8, 9 o'clock. But all right, I digress. Fordham, clearly better with Quisenberry back, but it's a high variance game. It's possible both teams shoot 25 three-pointers. Fordham has defended and limited three-point attempts this year. So I like 5.5, but I have not bet that yet. This Duke business, obviously, story of the day was Buddy Boeheim getting suspended. So most of my notes were without that news, and I was expecting a line around 9.5 or 10. I've currently got it at 12.1 with Paddy. So I was about 3 ahead of market. So the way I approach this is if the market accounted 3 points for Buddy and I'm already 3 points ahead of market, then my number just goes up whatever the books are allowing. But that line's got out of hand. I mean, I think I saw a 14.5 or a 15, and I get it. So here's the deal. Duke won by 20 and they won by 25. They rebounded 40% of their own misses in the first game and 53% of their own misses in the second game. They also shot well over the zone. So take out Buddy Boeheim. Jesse Edwards already out. I mean, this team's thin. I know that they're a tournament team, but yeah, I don't know. I just grabbed the 12.5 because it was I don't know, that feels close to me, and then the line shot up. So I thought I was a fish, but apparently not. So we'll see how it turns out. If it gets too high, or I don't know, you can always live bet it. I would not jump in at 14.5. I think it's got a little out of control. Florida, Texas A&M. Texas A&M righted the ship at the end of the year. Both these teams force turnovers. Both rebound offensively well and do not rebound defensively well. Florida has better offense. Aggies have better defense. Texas A&M had a 1-point home win despite going 2 out of 18 from three-point range. But this is a team that can go 2 out of 18 from three-point range. That's not unusual, so to speak. Both teams were able to force turnovers, were able to grab offensive rebounds as the matchup indicates. So I don't know. I think it's a case of wrong team favored, but I certainly am not excited to bet Texas A&M, and I'm going to sit a little bit in case that gets bet up. It's a fairly early game, so sometimes that draws a lot of attention. All right, TCU Texas. I did, whether I like it or not, bet TCU +6. I don't love this matchup, but I don't know. Texas's inability to score at times really helps, and getting 2 possessions feels good. The only downside of this is Texas's only losses since mid-January are to the elite teams, and I would not put TCU in there. It's the Kansas, it's the Baylor, it's the Texas Tech. So there's concern with this. It got a little too high for me. So once I saw 6, I went for it. Buffalo, Akron. Buffalo has struggled defensively this year and was kind of meh offensively in games where they did not um, shoot lights out from 3-point range. Shocking. Akron, though, pretty inconsistent themselves. They did win the first game by 12 at home. Going to need Akron to compete on the boards here and limit transition. If they do not compete on the boards, they likely do not limit transition, and that really helps Buffalo's offense. Iowa, here we go. I saw 7.5. I don't have access to it. It was at a book I don't have, but Iowa won by 21 at home. They jumped out of the gate, just got up like 24-6 or something like that, and then just cruised the rest of the game. They won the turnover battle. They crushed the boards, and they shot 35 3-pointers, which is a little high for Iowa. Neither team really finished at the rim. I personally think Nebraska was a far better matchup for Iowa just because Nebraska is really willing to play Iowa's pace, and Northwestern will likely try to scheme against that. Iowa's been hot. It's a lot of points, but if there was a 7.5, I'd probably go there. An 8 is a maybe. An 8.5 is like I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to stew on that one overnight. Maybe the decision will be made for me. Kent State, I bet this one a long time ago. It's now 6.5. At 6.5, I don't know. I think it's fine. They won by 13 at Miami of Ohio in their only meeting. They have the edge in like all the 4 factors. So that's what I look for. And sometimes you lose those games. When you look at a box score, I start with turnovers. Who forced more turnovers? Then I look at offensive rebounds. Who got second chances? And then I dig into the free throw disparity. Like, did one team shoot 25 free throws, the other team shoot 6? And a lot of times when you lose a bet you've placed, you can look at that, and those 4 factors are going to be in line. It's like, oh, just didn't make shots. Other team made shots. And that's what it comes down to. But it's really hard to predict shot making, I think. UNLV was on the fence. That's a gray game right now. I just want to point out that that's an awesome game. Real life basketball. Will Richardson not expected a non-COVID illness? He'll miss the entire Pac-12 tournament is the story. I don't think that would change, but I guess you never know. Oregon's favored here, and without Will Richardson, that seems a little dicey. But Oregon certainly forced a good amount of turnovers against Colorado in both meetings, 22 steals in the games they played this year. Have not bet that, am considering. Mississippi State, South Carolina, have not bet, am considering. Both teams likely to force and give up turnovers. I think the Bulldogs own the offensive rebounds here, but SC is a pretty good offensive rebounding team too. It's just Mississippi State's a far better defensive rebounding team. So it's close. Shot quality certainly favors Mississippi State, and recent play favors South Carolina. Don't know what I'll do there. UMass G-Dub. UMass is a great perimeter team. They have an awful defense, like most great perimeter teams. So I'd be banking on George Washington to win inside. Not surprised that shot quality prefers the team that shoots a lot of 3-pointers. Their defense is real bad. So getting 2.5 here, I'm considering, but yeah, I haven't made that decision yet either. I'm hoping for an Izzo narrative here for Michigan State just to bump that up a little bit. I'd love like a 4 or a 4.5. If you watched this video on Sunday, same story as Sunday, just hopefully we don't spot 3 touchdowns out of the gate. I think that game was like 24-8, and yeah, like early. Might have even been 24-4. I don't know. But anyway, the rest of the game, Maryland won. Just 4 minutes. It's kind of what happens. 6 minutes, whatever it was. Maryland Eastern Shore, North Carolina Central. Look, these teams just crack me because it always shows as a good data edge, but bad offense, bad defense, lots of turnovers, poor offensive rebound, lots of fouls. Like, it's fantastic. We'll go ahead and make this game green. I have bet Ball State +8. Ohio won the only meeting by 24. And Ball State's popped up for some bad performances, but Ohio has been trending the wrong way, even with having some good 3-point defense. Quinnipiac and Siena. Siena swept the series. I prefer Siena here. I don't know why they're getting points. The matchup's fairly neutral. Yeah, I don't know. Haven't bet it, may bet it, but not something I'm rushing to. Those teams in that conference are probably perked up quite a bit after seeing Iona get knocked out. Washington State, UCLA, I don't have a line yet, but if it was 6.5, I'd consider it. Again, I don't like to lay points. UC Davis, Cal State Fullerton, somewhat close, but pretty much all the data points would lean UC Davis. Florida Atlantic UAB is likely a play on Florida Atlantic, but it's a little early there. No line on Virginia, North Carolina, but I would expect that I'm on Virginia. Oh, God. Utah, Washington is still playing. Utah Valley and Abilene Christian are still playing, so you can kind of see what the spreads are for both sides of that. But I need to pull in data from overnight, so some of these games where teams played today likely can change a little bit. So, what I've bet so far is Duke, TCU, Kent, Akron, and Ball State. Strongly considering Fordham in Maryland, as well as a bunch of others, and then we got some fresh matchups coming up as well. With as much as the Duke line has moved, I think that ship has sailed personally, but you can always bet it live. Like maybe it's 4-0 Syracuse, and then you get the same line I had. If not, just set it out. But usually there's opportunities to bet a game live. So this is cutting down the nets. We have Friday left after this. We have Saturday left, and then it's selection Sunday. So 2 busy days in a row with some high quality basketball. Should be a fun weekend. Hang in there. A lot of action. It's hard not to overbet. I'll tell you that. So thanks for stopping by. This is Cutting Down the Net.